Okay, good afternoon. You are listening to Love Bay Afro Music Radio Talk Show, and it's the Relationship and Marriage Hour. Today, we are so happy to have two vibrant guests in the studio. They are Nathan Williams and Chelsea Burnside, and we are happy.
Hello.
Yes, our topic today is dating in the 21st century. And I believe you are in for a treat today because we look into relationship today and they are everywhere but the right way. In other
Mm,
words, they are relationship with benefits
mhm.
and
Wow.
there are relationships that are there and it doesn't come off to anything. But we are happy for our guests and they're going to tell us how they do it with the younger generation. I think the Gen Zs or is it the millennial?
Gen
They're
Z.
Yeah,
going
easy.
to they're going to tell us how they did it. So let's just introduce before we introduce ourselves. Just say hi to our audience, Dr. Alvin and Nathan and Chelsea. Just say hi to the audience and then we're going to get started.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Mhm.
Hello and welcome. Yes, to the talk show today, and we are in for a treat, talk. We are in
We
for a treat.
certainly, we
So this is
certainly
the
are.
relationship and marriage hour, and yes, we are happy to have you here. And this program is brought by Love Bay Afro Music Talk Radio, your number one African Caribbean diaspora online radio out of Canada. And we are coming to you out of Nassau, Bahamas. So we want you to call a friend, call your significant other, and tell them tune in today. If you are in this young generation, this Gen Z, this millennial, find out if marriage still is a good idea, if it
Mm.
works, if dating is the same as it was 10, 15, 50 years ago, uh, what has changed and what do we need to know? So come on and let's have this conversation, Doc.
Okay, thank you so much for our protocol, our housekeeping issues. Now we're going to get go right into our show, and we are going to ask this lovely couple to tell us a little about yourself individually. Tell us a little about yourself, so
Sure.
the
So,
audience knows. Mhm.
hello
Hello.
everyone. So my name is Chelsea.
And I'm Nathan.
Um, yeah, we're a young couple based out of Toronto, Canada. We're actually recently engaged. Um, yeah, I'm 23. He's 24. Um,
Yeah, we met each other at our old workplace and kind of like just liked each other and we
kind of progressed from there.
yeah, we progressed from there. And we got engaged August 1st, which was actually our
2 year
2 year
anniversary
anniversary. And on track to get married August 1st
next
next year.
year.
So that would be our 3 year marriage, our 3 year anniversary.
Anniversary,
Yeah.
and then we get married. Yes.
Wonderful. That is so good. So you're telling me you've met in total 2 years, and you got engaged at the second anniversary.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, wonderful. So tell me, Nathan, what is it that attracted you to Chelsea? How did you know this is the woman I wanted to become
Oh,
engaged
actually, we there was a situation at like our workplace where we had to go like pick something up, like food, for
For an
an event
event.
that was coming up because we work at a youth center, right? So we went to the patty store, the Jamaican patty store, and we were getting patties for the event, right? And like on the drive there, we were just having a good conversation, just talking about life, such as like what we do, like what's in like our families, like what we like to do at home.
Hmm.
And yeah, the conversation was just flowing really nicely, a good back and forth. And when we got there, like we got the patties, and then when we were leaving, like normally I don't do this, but I opened my car door and I was gonna go in the driver's seat and just let her open the passenger seat, but then I was like, wait, let me let me just open her passenger side door for her and let her in. So that was the first moment when I was like, maybe I like her because I don't do that. I That's not something I do for anyone. Like I do it for her
Mhm.
to this day,
Mhm.
but before that, I haven't done it for anyone, not even my mom. So, so
Oh wow.
yeah, like yeah, the fact that I kind of just did that really showed to me that I liked her, and after that, it kind of just like progressed. Yeah,
Wow, that's good. Because normally we do not see the door opening
Not
anymore.
at all. Not
yeah,
at all.
That is awesome. So right then you realized something was going on. How about you,
exactly.
Chelsea? He realized that. How about you? When did you realize you love this guy or wanted a relationship?
Yeah, so for me it was a little bit different. Like of course, on that same day during that car ride and we were having that conversation, I guess that was kind of I guess the first indication, but I didn't know it yet. But what stood out to me with him, like during that conversation, was like he listened, and not only was it just like me asking him questions about him, which a lot of the times it goes like that. It's like just one person asking and then the one person answering. But he was actually like turning around the questions on me now. So he kind of like showed an interest in me as well. And for me, like that kind of got me thinking like, whoa, that's different. Like because normally like I can ask a lot of questions but I don't talk about myself much, but for this guy to like start asking me questions and trying to like dive a little bit deeper in who I was, I found that very interesting. But at that point I wasn't like, oh, I like this guy or anything like that. But as like we kind of progressed and like we were talking more like outside of work now, and um like even then I was like, oh, maybe he's just trying to be my friend because he's just a kind guy like that. So I just thought it was simply platonic. But then on one of our like first real dates, I guess you can call it, like he told me his intentions right away. Like he sees himself in a relationship with me, and like he just wants something long term. And that was very surprising too, because like a
Wow.
lot of guys these days, they're not
Mhm.
looking for long-term investment and that kind of thing. So even that, but even still, I wasn't like, okay, I like him yet. But the pivotal moment for me to be like, yeah, like this is a guy that like I see myself being with, was I was actually going through something at home. Like I was getting like it was a little bit of a rough patch between like my mom and I at that time. And I remember going to him and I was just like crying about it and stuff, and like I was just really upset. And like the way that he was there for me in that moment, like he wasn't trying to like give me advice or tell me anything like of what I should do or anything, but he was just holding space for me in that moment. And it was like a safe space for me in that time to just express my raw emotion, and I didn't feel any kind of judgment or any type of belittlement or nothing, but like he was just there for me. And after that day I was like, wow, like I actually like this guy. Like he was just there for me through a tough moment, and like it's just nothing that I've ever experienced before. So yeah, from then I was like, okay, I'll give this guy a little bit more of a chance, you know. And then yeah, it just kept going from there.
This is beautiful. Now,
Yeah,
I've had the opportunity to see both of you together, and what I saw, it is that would cause me to decide to invite you to the program, because you are respectful of each other. You speak to each other well, and it's just a good feeling just seeing both of you, right? And the way
Thank
you treat each other. When did you move from friendship? I know you told us it was 2 years. Within
mm,
that 2 years, when was it no longer friendship? Because it seemed as though it started as a friendship.
for
How,
sure.
when did it change from friendship to relationship?
Hmm.
And
you.
I'm not sure because we were coworkers for a while before we even started like talking in that way.
Um, I'd say probably around. When do you think? Because it was definitely on one of our dates for
For
sure.
sure. I would say maybe like after we started talking more regularly, like outside of work, I feel like he was kind of already like, okay, I know what I want. But it took me like a couple of weeks, I would say, to like actually say, okay, like I'll give him a chance. So I would say from when we met, it was like a couple of months because I started working there in May.
Yeah, she started working there in May.
Mm-hmm.
So there is just kind of like, friendship,
Yeah.
um, like hi, bye, all of that stuff,
Yeah.
right? When we actually started talking, like, and like, going out on dates in like July, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So about 2 months then, I guess. 2 months and 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
like initially she was like, "Oh, I kind of want to wait a bit because she just wanted to make sure that everything was okay, like
Mm-hmm.
before we got into like an actual relationship." And then um August 1st, we went on our date to
Yeah.
Port Credit.
Because he was taking me out for my birthday
Yeah.
because my birthday was 2 days prior, which was July 30th.
Yeah, so Port Credit is basically like a riverside type of area. Nice water there. So I
Mm-hmm.
took her out on a date there at a restaurant there, and during that date, she told me, she's like, "Oh, by the way, like, whenever, like, I'm ready, I'm ready." So
Yeah, and then he's like, "You're ready for me for your, he's like, oh, you're ready to be my girlfriend," and I'm like, "I didn't want you to ask like that," and
yeah,
then he was like, "Oh, will you be my girlfriend?"
yeah. And then I asked her, "Oh, will you be my girlfriend?"
Yeah,
And then she said, "Yeah."
yeah, and 2 years later,
And 2 years later, we actually got engaged at
yeah,
Port Credit,
the
like
same
at the port.
place, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Your mic is off.
your mic's muted, Dr. Marie.
Sorry, Dr. Alvin, listening to them, what is your thought?
This is a fairy tale.
For
I
us
am
too, I think,
wondering.
yeah.
Yeah, I am wondering if this is, hmm, if is this how it is done now in this generation,
I would say
or
no.
no?
I would say
Okay,
no because now, in this generation, it's like a lot of people are in what you would call a talking stage, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
you're talking to each other, except like sometimes it gets exclusive, but that's not boyfriend and girlfriend yet. Like
Mm.
exclusive just means you're not talking to
Anyone else?
anyone else, but you're not officially together yet.
Yeah, and like they wouldn't
what?
like take it
Yeah,
that far to like actually put the label on it and establish, okay, we're in a relationship.
yeah,
So that's why even me, when he was telling me his intentions and stuff like that, I was taken back, and then that's why I had to take a little bit of time to like actually see if he was like being true and honest, because even me myself, like I've never experienced anything like that before. So yeah, it's very
Okay.
different.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh
also,
yeah, because
no, go
go
ahead.
on, go on, Nathan.
Oh, sometimes the talking stage can last years.
Years.
Like that's that's the thing. But luckily for us, like just like before we were in a relationship, it only took us like 2 3 weeks of just getting to know each other, and
Hmm.
then yeah. But sometimes it lasts months, maybe even
Years.
years, where people are just exclusive to each other, but not
Willing to
officially in a
take that step.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, good stuff. This is good stuff. So wow, dog, that's it. They are ready. They are happy.
You know, exactly. And I love that because
Energy is there. The energy and the vibe is there. Yes.
exactly. You know,
Hmm.
and as I've started out in our society today, persons, did we lose our guest?
No.
Oh
Oh
no.
no.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, persons today, and I was talking to a student. This is a student, and a student fall within the age range of 16 and below. And she was saying that she had a boyfriend, but her boyfriend came with benefits,
Mm,
Mm.
meaning that they engage in what, you know, sexual relationship as well.
mm,
Mhm.
So it seems sometimes that most of the relationship, if there is no sexual part of it, they feel you don't love me.
mm.
How was that for you? Because we may have listeners there, they're wondering, oh, you got to go to bed together. You got to do this. But tell us, how do you feel about relationship with benefits?
Well, actually, like I'd say like it definitely okay. At first, the thing is, I wasn't really um religious or anything like that at first. So like we weren't as a whole um like that. So we were like engaging with that, but for me it was like when I first started getting into my relationship with God, such as reading the Bible. I finished it in April this year. But like just reading that, reading all of God's word, we made the decision to just not engage in that anymore until marriage, because that's what God ordained for us and intended for us. So I feel like that's the thing. Like with relationships nowadays, it's so easy to get caught up in the world,
For sure.
kind of like that, and especially if like you don't really know God's word,
Mm-hmm.
or other people around you are engaging in like um beneficial like behaviors like sexual stuff and all of that, it kind of makes it
Normal,
easier and
yeah.
normal for you to get involved with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
um so yeah, I feel like it's very common nowadays, but I will say that your relationship with God does matter the most.
100%.
And I urge every young person to definitely like learn, like read the word of God for
Mm-hmm.
themselves.
And
And
seek that relationship.
yeah,
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, with young couples especially today, is like without sex they feel like there's no relationship, right? And they would feel like that's kind of the glue that's holding you together because you're having like that intimacy, right? But with us now, it's like we definitely realize where it's not that holds us together, it's God that holds us together. And it's the love that we have for him that brings us closer together as well. And it's like once we took out that, it became more of like, okay, it's like we really had to like learn how to, one, communicate. How can we get through arguments without just resorting to this, or how can we show each other that we love each other without resorting to this? So I believe like it definitely made our relationship stronger, because you have to find new ways of like having that intimacy without getting to sexual stuff, and just also recognizing that the blessings that will come from it while we're honoring God and like getting married and like doing things the right way as like we believe to like Christianity. And it's like because we're honoring God, like we believe that he will also honor us as well. So it's like just remembering that and like keeping our mind focused on like that and what's to come, rather than just rushing into all of these stuff, which is what a lot of people are doing
yeah.
today.
And I also gotta say that once we started putting God first,
Hmm.
like things have become easier. Like
For sure.
with regards to like arguments, all of that stuff, like we don't argue as much as we were like 1 year in
For
or anything
sure.
like that. Like it's been generally smooth, apart from like
Outside
the
factors.
outside factors,
Yeah.
plus Satan's going to try to tear apart what
100%.
God ordains and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. So it's making it past that, but God has thoroughly like shown Himself to us, and yeah.
100%.
Okay. So let's say there's a couple listening now who who's similar to you guys, and they have been together, let's say 3 4 years, just like you guys, and they have been engaging in sexual activity, and their relationship, they think that that is the glue that is
Mm,
holding their relationship together, and they hear you and they want to start doing what you guys have done. Could you give them some practical um, examples on what you do? Because let's be real, we are all sexual beings.
for sure.
Yeah.
When I see the woman I love as a
Mm,
man, I am turned on.
Yeah.
Let's be real about it. So
yeah.
how do you, Nathan, deal with, okay, I see you, Chelsea, and you looking really good today, but We have
Uh,
made this vow that we got to stay from each other until
mhm.
August of next year. And
Mhm.
August can't come fast enough. So
um,
give us some practical examples on what you do that they can then use in their relationship.
I think first thing is like when we're spending time together, it's not like we're filling our time with something like we're making sure we fill our time with something. So for instance, we like to just watch TV together. We'll do that, like, like also kind of just making sure that you don't give that opportunity for those
Mm.
thoughts to kind of slip in, and then you end up doing an action or whichever. So yeah, kind of filling that space with that, with either something that you like to do, something that you enjoy to do together. um yeah, also once again, like kind of focusing, like reminding yourself of why you're doing this.
Mm.
Like, like for us, our reason is we're waiting for marriage, like doing what God intended, because like once you engage in that act, in like that activity, you guys are officially one. So yeah, it's pretty much just remembering your purpose
Yeah,
of
for
why you're
sure.
doing this. It's like, okay, if we hold off, then when we get married, the blessings are going to be that much
Yeah.
bigger.
And it'll be that much more special too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like, it's definitely a lot more mental than
for
physical.
sure.
Like you do need to fight urges, and all of that. But especially if it's hard to fight the urges, it's good to occupy yourself with something else.
Mhm.
And I don't mean like neglect each other. I don't mean like
No.
one of you are doing one thing and the other doing another. Unless you guys are okay with like having some time to yourself. But think of doing things together, especially when you're in the same space.
Okay. So what's
And
the kills? What is the kill switch? And what I mean by the kill switch, Chelsea, is it that you would say, "Okay, Nathan, you remember the vows that we put together? I think
honestly,
you are
yes.
moving. You are moving in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
How?
I feel like
Yeah.
100%, but it's both of us. Like I can't say it's just him, but I feel like the most important thing for sure is both of you are on the same page, because it
Yeah.
can't be just him saying, "Oh, no, I'm going to abstain from this," because then I can come and start tempting him and that stuff, and that's not fair, right? So both of us have to be on the same page. So it's like sometimes if he's getting a little bit too excited, I have to say, "No, babe, we have to wait till marriage." And then same thing if it's a me, then he says, "No, we're not married yet. We're not married yet." So it has to be both of us on the same page so that we can, if we're either of us are in like that kind of like in heat, I
Mood.
guess, both
Yes.
of us
Yes.
will be able to like stop one another, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so. The most important thing is being on the same page with your partner so that both of you can hold each other accountable.
Okay. Excellent.
Mhm.
Excellent, Doc. That is powerful. That is
Yes,
powerful.
indeed. I love it, Doc. I love it. So tell me, this is good stuff. And I hope that we have a lot of our young people listening. Now, as you are planning for the big day, what have you sat down and decided, I like this, I want that, and what he wants? Have you really had that opportunity to decide what it is you expect from Nathan, and Nathan is telling you what he expects from you when you get into this relationship? Have you sat and look at those things? Because
Like
what
of the marriage or of the wedding?
for the no for the marriage, the life,
Oh,
being in a marriage, because what we find, Chelsea, is that a lot of people go into marriage sort of blindly.
okay. Mm,
It's just because I feel good about being with him or her, and we are doing very well. So they didn't take the time to sit down and say, well, let me see, what is your expectation when
mhm.
we are married? What do you want me to do? What are you expecting of me? And you do vice, the same, he will do the same with you.
Right.
But this is something that is normally bypassed in innocence, perhaps.
Mhm.
Is this something that you have had the opportunity to sit down now and to find out what it is you like or expect?
For sure. I believe like it's not just one conversation that happens. Like for us, it's like it's an ongoing
Yes.
conversation. So if anything in life were to pop up or like a certain situation, maybe because we watch a lot of reality TV, okay, with like couples and stuff. So like say for instance, even in that, like we see a certain situation, like we'd pause and we talk about like, okay, like how would we kind of navigate through this, or like in everyday situations, or it's like when we have kids, like how would you want to be with that, like are we going to be authoritative, are we going to be, that kind of thing. So it's like every day something comes up where we have to stop and have a conversation of how would we want that to look like moving forward in our marriage, like even in our own kind of household situations, like we discuss the things that like we like and what we don't like, and like how are we gonna like come together so that we're both comfortable in where we're going moving forward. So I wouldn't say that it's a conversation that we just sit down and have once. It's like every day things come up where it's like, okay, this is something that's important that we need to discuss, even when it comes to finances and stuff like that. Like how are we going to save, like how are we going to put together our stuff, like how are we going to work in one unit to be successful, right? Because of course, like it can be like, oh yeah, we're just in love and we're just going to get married, and then everything can fall apart, which is not something that we want. So we're very intentional about the conversations that we're having when certain things like arise. So each day we're growing to know more of like what he wants from me as a wife and what I would want from him as a husband and potential parent, or not potential, but God willing, parents in the future.
Okay.
Very, very good. Dr.
Good,
Alvin, do you
good.
have any
No, you're
questions?
listening to our special guests, Nathan Williams and Chelsea Burnside. They are here in during the relationship and marriage hour, and we're talking about dating in the 21st century. Yes, this program is brought to you by Love Bay. So we thank you for tuning in, and we hope that you have learned something and you will continue to learn as we go through. You can tune into us, or you can add us to or you can subscribe to us. We are on LinkedIn. We are on Facebook. We are on all the social media platforms. You can add us to it. Yes, the Love Bay Afro Music Talk Radio, your number one African Caribbean diaspora online radio out of Canada. Um, it is very exciting, Doc, to know that in this chaotic world, that there are still persons who have found the right way, and I put in quotation, air quotation, the right way to do things and to honor God, and by honoring God, we honor ourselves. Um, like we say every week, Doc, that Dr. Miles Monroe says that marriage is a good idea because marriage is a God idea, and marriage
Mm,
is a perfect entity entered into by two imperfect beings. And
mm,
Nathan and Chelsea said something, Doc, um, that highlights what we've been talking about for a very long time. That when you early in the relationship, or even before marriage, when you engage in sexual activity, that can cloud the relationship. However, when you withdraw, you now have more time that you can focus on who the person is.
mhm,
Let me study them. Let me know what their likes and their dislikes are. Um, and you can, because intimacy is a whole lot more than sex.
for sure.
And and that's what they have said today, and that is just so powerful. Um, so this is the way it should be done. So, what advice, Nathan and Chelsea, would you want to give that guy out there who is saying, "Boy, I have gone on social media, and I have gone in the chats looking for this perfect person. I have tried the online dating. I have done everything our generation is doing. I've gone to the clubs. I've done all of this stuff, and I can't find what it seems like y'all two have. What must I do? What would be your advice to that person in your generation who has lost hope and think that this does not exist?
What I will say is it's best like if you're not looking for it.
Mm.
Because to be
Oh,
honest, like
powerful.
yeah, even for me, like before I met Chelsea, all of that, like I was kind of looking for a partner, you know, like a girlfriend. And like I found that when you look, it it's like you might attract things that aren't like for you.
Mm.
And it was when I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna stop looking. I'm gonna just focus on myself. I'm gonna focus on my job, my career, all of that stuff, my school. Um that's when I met Chelsea. So yeah, I feel like going and seeking it out isn't like for some people it may work, but I also feel like if you're having trouble going and seeking it out, then um that's your cue to, you know, focus on you or just focus on God or whatever you have planned, your career, you things that relate to you, and all things will align, especially especially if you make that decision to put God first. Like I didn't until after our relationship, but I did make that decision beforehand to kind of just start focusing on myself. And that's when, and once again, God will reach out to you, whether you're, you know, whether you're in, whether you have that relationship with him already, or whether you that relationship is still yet to come.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would agree because for me too, it was a bunch of failed talking stages and all that kind of stuff, and I kind of came to that point where it's like the next person I'm with is going to be the person that I marry. So I stopped searching and all that stuff, and I started like improving myself and like, what about me? Like, how can I make myself better for that future relationship? And also just praying to God, like, God, this is what I want. I want a husband. I want a husband. And then, like, as he said, it comes when you least expect it. Because I was working with this guy for 2 months before I even thought, oh, you know, this will be the person that I marry one day. But then, like, and that's just how it happens sometimes. It comes where and when you least expect it, when you're not searching for it so hard. Because if you're searching for something more than you're searching for God, you're not going to get it because He wants you to put Him first. So if
Oh,
you're
that is
seeking that relationship,
powerful.
so if you're
That is
trying to
powerful.
seek that relationship, trying to seek that marriage, and you're doing that above Him, you're not going to get it. So you need to let God's plan work and just continue to seek Him first, and all things will come together when it is of His will.
Oh,
And also
wow.
I will say that like focus on yourself can also improving yourself. Like I was going to the gym at that time, you know, and like even so like we're still like when we get married we're gonna start going
Mhm.
back to the gym, everything, God willing. So
Yeah,
it's just that like finding any way to improve on yourself without relying on
somebody
someone
else.
who is not God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to fill that for you.
Yeah. Because then, too, in order for me to love someone, I need to first love myself.
One hundred
Exactly.
And,
percent.
and how can I love you if I don't even know how to love? And how
Mhm.
can I accept your love if I don't
Mm.
even know how love looks? So
Exactly.
Exactly.
so I like that. I like that, Doc, and I like that, Nathan and Chelsea. Focus on yourself. Now, many people will say that's selfish, but I don't think
Mm.
it's selfish. I
Nope,
think
No.
if you
it's
focus
not.
on yourself to better you, in
Yeah.
essence, you are bettering the person who will be attached to you. It is similar,
Right.
like if you were to buy a house in the neighborhood, if you increase the value of your house, you actually increase the value of the houses in everyone at your neighbor's house as well. So
Mhm.
Hmm.
so the value of the property in the house goes up for all of your neighbors. So if you look at it that way, bettering you means that the person that God will send for you to spend the rest of your life with, that means that union will be better. And if that union is better, the children that God will bless you with will come into a better situation.
Amen.
Exactly.
And if they
Amen.
come into a better situation, and then what is your ceiling is their floor, then what's going to happen?
Mm.
Your grandchildren now will come into
Wow.
a better situation,
Yep.
and
That's true.
that's how we improve the next generation.
Of
But
Exactly.
course, yeah.
forefathers have said to us, and I think they missed it when they were like, okay, don't focus on yourself because that's selfish. But I don't think
Mm.
it's selfish. What you think,
Mm-hmm.
Doc?
I like that because you must become the best version of yourself before you can
Yes.
make someone else's life valuable. And I love the
Mm,
fact that they're
powerful,
saying,
powerful.
yeah, you have to. And I love the fact that he said, stop looking, because
Yes.
is what caused a lot of people to get messed up. They're
Yeah.
looking, and the first thing passed, this got to be it. The next one passed, maybe it's this one, and it causes
Mhm.
confusion. But
Mm-hmm.
if you stop, make yourself the best version of you, and then begin to um, um, pray about it, you know, ask God to send that person, and then you go about your business, do your
Mm-hmm.
schoolwork, do you, do you, and
Yeah.
then before you know it, a matter of fact, for you, what I've heard, it came right in your lap. You both had to go pick up something.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Quite literally.
Yes,
Yeah.
you know. So for some reason, God has a way of putting you together. Once you ask Him, He will put it together. And I
Exactly.
think if it's done this way, Chelsea and Nathan, it makes life easier.
It
Mm.
does.
There are some relationship because they didn't wait, they grabbed the first one or the second, the third, whichever,
Yeah.
and then there's no compatibility. Then you
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of problem. Then the trust issue comes into play because it's not what you wanted. But I
Yeah.
love your relationship. You're level headed. You know what you want, and you're working at it one step at a time.
For
You know.
sure.
So this is beautiful, and I think, Doc, this is something we have always been talking about when it comes
Yes.
to relationship. Make yourself valuable, and then see somebody
Mm-hmm.
else. Because if you just said it, Doc, if you don't have it, then how can you pass it on? We can't.
Mhm.
So this is a good thing. I love it. So tell me, I know he said it, that, but there are also some elder folks who may not have dealt with their relationship the way you are now dealing with it, and they wish they can turn back clock, but then we got to keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And it's may seem ironic for you to give them advice. Senior, give some of our senior person advice on how they can now correct what may have gone wrong. Some of them are maybe ready to just throw in the towel and give up a relationship. How can you speak to them and show them that they can make it too?
What I will say is, you still have a future, so you can make those amends right now, as soon as you can. Once again, like, you have a future, but you don't know, like, even for us, like, you don't know how long, like, right, like, because
Mm.
tomorrow, something
It's
could
not
happen.
promised. Yeah.
So, one thing, like, if you feel like you need to kind of spill, um all the stuff that you kind of kept on your heart and mind, um remember, God is always there. You can, if you if anything, you can repent, talk to him, pour out everything to him. And also, if you're still in that relationship where you have caused that hurt, then it's never too late to um change your ways. Like,
Mm.
yeah, and talk to that person. Just be the person, like, the person who you were thinking of when you made those mistakes.
Mm.
Be the person who you would have liked to be in those situations
Oh wow.
instead. Like, obviously you can't change the
Okay.
past, but you can make a difference for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And any mistake that you made in the past, that's in the past. But you're in control of, you're not even in control of the future, but you're in control of the now. So you can start now with just, if you cause harm to your partner in any way, just being a better person for them, and talking to them, letting them know, and also just, yeah, once again, spilling whatever you have on your heart to God. You can go with your partner too to do that. Um just it pretty much, it'll be therapeutic,
Mm.
and it'll help you just kind of get rid of any of those things that you're still carrying that may have been from years ago or whichever. Yeah.
That's good. So you're saying now for someone that may have issues in their relationship, that may have a lot bottled up inside, that finding it hard to share with their significant other, they can go and talk to the Lord, and He will give them some relief.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
good.
And I
Because, yeah, the Lord is our refuge too.
100%.
Like, in many cases where you feel like you may not be able to share to everyone like something that you may be going through, he's always there, and he's always there with a listening ear, because
Mm.
and he knows what you're going through. It's not like something where he wouldn't understand something you're going through. He knows very well what you're going through. Once again, he came down to the world in the flesh as Jesus Christ, and so he can understand the way that we feel in basically every area, literally every area, because he is God,
For
right?
sure. And just to add to that a little bit about like how can you kind of fix that relationship between your partner. I feel like it really just comes down to communication and talking about it and being open and vulnerable with your feelings. And like if there has been situations that have arisen and that has caused some kind of malice or animosity and those kind of things, it's like you have to remember that you got with this person for a reason, whatever that reason may be, and you chose to have this person as your partner. So just remembering that it's you and your partner against these problems, not you against your partner. So it's like both of you should be able to like come together and have those conversations to see, okay, how can we together resolve this issue without battling with each other over it, because that's not going to lead to anything good, right? So I feel like just being open and honest, being your partner's partner, being
Hmm.
there together to resolve those issues together. And if you feel like you can't resolve it, as course what Babe said, turn to the Lord. And also just returning to that friendship. Like, of course, relationships aren't always easy. And like, I feel like returning to like, okay, like I once liked this person, so what is it about this person that initially attracted me, and what is about this person that I liked? I feel like returning back to that and just remembering your why did I choose to get with this person, and just start over, start with your friendship again and just grow with that. And I feel like with a friendship, it's kind of easier sometimes to have that open communication, because like you're not afraid to like say what you have to say, right? Without fear of like, oh, they're gonna leave me or whatever. Like it's not about leaving, it's about getting through these problems together. So just having that and like rebuilding once you what you once had, and even in a better way. If it was in a bad way before and like it was simply out of lust and those kind of things, it's like build a relationship with the person, with their heart and who they actually are on the inside, and just continue to grow on that and see how well it can flourish. Even if you're already 10 years into your marriage, like I
Hmm.
feel like you can find new ways of like how to love and appreciate that person and vice versa, if you just get to know each other from back to the basics.
Yeah, and also just adding on to that, remember, God like intended for marriage to be forever. So,
Mm-hmm.
like when you get into that marriage, like that's your partner. You can talk to them too about like any issues that you may have, because you guys are united as one for
Mm-hmm.
the rest of your lives. And even like, it's you guys are one. So it's just good to be able to share with your partner, and
Mm-hmm.
just know that nothing can't be fixed.
True.
I feel like, um whatever past stuff may have happened, um the marriage, having a marriage allows that opportunity for you to fix whatever holes may have been created in it.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like forgiveness is very important too,
Forgiveness too.
because spending time with anybody for a long time is like they're gonna find ways to trigger you. They're gonna find ways to press your
Yes.
button and all that kind of stuff. And it's like they're gonna get on your nerves. It's not gonna always be roses and sunshine all the time. But like learning how to forgive each other and apologize like with a pure heart and not just apologizing because it sounds good. And it's like actually like being genuine about your apologies and forgiveness, and learning not to bring those things back up in an argument. Like we've talked about it, we've apologized, we forgave, let's move on and progress. Don't keep returning back to the same things over again, because that means you didn't really forgive in your heart, right? So you just have to, forgiveness is a big thing,
Yeah.
100%.
And also remember, like, I heard a good thing that even you mentioned sometimes, Dave, that like even forgive others, because remember, like, once you, like, the hurt that you may have the hurt that they may have caused to you, you also have caused to God before you had that relationship, and He forgave you
Hmm.
without any strings attached or anything like that, and He will continue to forgive you no
Yeah.
matter what. Yeah.
You speak like a veteran. Hey, Doc, they are
Yes, they
speaking
do.
like veterans, right? But you
Yes, they
know,
are.
the Bible did say, out of the mouth of babes,
Babes, yeah.
out of the mouth of babes. But that being said, and I believe I know the answer, but tell us, how do you handle whether or not you have conflicts? And if you do, how do you handle them?
Right, like, normally, like, right away we try to talk it out. We try to talk it out. And if it gets like to a certain point where like we're just really mad at each other, we remind each other, hey, it's not me versus you, it's us versus the problem. And
Yeah.
then after that we normally apologize, and we make up, and
Hmm.
like we just talk, and we just say, oh, we're sorry for this, we're sorry for that, whatever it may be,
Hmm.
and we're good again. And that's where forgiveness comes in.
For
Like,
sure.
we forgive, and we don't hold it against that person.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always happen right away.
Hmm.
For sure, sometimes like we need to take a little bit of space to kind of like calm down within ourselves first, because you can't have a practical conversation when you're speaking out of emotion, because that will just continue to
Mm.
escalate. So sometimes it's like, me especially, I will get silent sometimes where it's just like, okay, conversation done, because I know I'm not going to be able to respond effectively. So sometimes after just having that space, like we're still in the same room and stuff, but it's like I'm doing my own thing, you're doing your own thing, and then like it allows some time to like actually think properly about the situation, and then that's when we're able to be like, okay, yeah, I realize where I was wrong, I'm sorry, and like explain where that might may have came from, and then the other person will also do that as well, where it's just you're being humble, like put your pride aside, you know. If you're wrong, you have to be able to admit that you're wrong, because at the end of the day, it's like we want to be with each other, and it's like we don't like when there's like a separation, and it's like we feel that the vibe is off. So it's like, how can we get rid of this animosity? And it just comes from speaking um vulnerably and putting your pride aside 100%, because it's not I'm right, you're wrong. It's like, okay, I see where I was wrong in the situation, you see where you were wrong in the situation, we apologize, and then yeah, we continue like
Hmm.
normal because that's what we want at the end of the day. We want to come back like everything is normal. So it's just important to have those conversations.
And also, it's
Yeah.
about like, also not letting other people
Mm,
know about your conflicts, because only other person that should know about your conflicts is God.
mm-hmm.
Like, realistically, we try not we don't like tell other people when we're having a conflict, or when we're kind of like not like,
On the best
yeah,
terms.
not on the best terms, because then they can use that as ammunition or
Hmm.
whichever
Or
to kind.
turn us against each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So we
Wow,
keep it between us for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
wow. Dr. Alvin?
What? Dog, I'm wondering what if they were in our counseling sessions, because one of the first things or one of the things that I encourage young couples to do and I say, listen, um, you must never see your partner as the enemy,
Mm,
because the day you see your partner as the enemy is the day that relationship will turn and it will die.
for sure. Yeah.
you
Exactly.
you must always see your partner as your friend. Now, mind you,
Mm-hmm.
your friend can hurt you,
Yeah.
but then when you look at them as a friend, you deal with them different than if you say my enemy has hurt me. So
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
different dynamics altogether. And I hear that from you guys, and that is powerful. Now, I want to ask you this, and then we can talk in our last 10 minutes as we get ready to wrap. And for those of you who are watching, you are watching the are listening to us. You are watching this program brought to you by Love Bay Afro Music Talk Radio, your number one African Caribbean diaspora online radio. Yes, and we are so happy that you have joined us today. Now, people talk about in a relationship, there should be 50-50. Now, I'm going to tell you what my take is, and then you then tell me yours. But my take is 50-50 is foolishness. There should always be 100-100, and 100 plus 100 equals 100 when it comes to a perfect union, to a perfect relationship. Um, and that's why I love my wife. She comes with 100, I come with my 100, but my 100 in the bigger scheme of things might only be 20% of the overall, and then her 100 may be the 80%, or vice versa. But the
Mm-hmm.
union must always be 100. And I try to get in the minds of persons when they say 50-50, they come in 50-50 and they give their 50 and no and nothing else. If their partner can only give 30, that means the the union now suffers because it's not
Yeah.
100.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What's your
Yeah, we 100% agree, and that's something that we talk about a lot, actually, with the
yeah,
same kind of analogy where it's like we're both giving 100 because of one day, like I can only give 60, he's pulling that rest of the weight for, or sorry, if I can only give 40, he's pulling that rest of the weight for me, and vice versa, because we're all gonna have our days. Like there may be a bad day at work, or if I'm that time of the month or whichever else, and like I can't, he would pull that weight for me, and vice versa. So I we 100% agree, it's always 100% from each of us, because 50-50, there's going to be some cracks, and that's what we don't
yes.
want. So yeah, we 100% agree.
Okay, okay. Good. Doc,
Yes, yes, yes.
hey,
I'm still
my
saying.
I am
Go ahead.
only going to cause trouble here. I'm only going to cause trouble here, Doc, with this statement I'm about to make. But if they were sitting in my office before me, I would be like, it seemed like y'all got everything down pat. Why y'all waiting for August?
Thank you.
What, Doc? Over to you.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
No, they have to wait for August so I can get there. I don't think it's fair with me. I have to be there. And if
Yeah.
they call
Okay.
before August, I won't go.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, we also just want to keep that date
Yeah, it's
sacred to
special
us,
to us.
you
It's the
know?
day we
So,
started dating, the day we got engaged, so the day we get married.
yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's
Excellent.
good. That
Excellent.
sounds good.
But
You know,
powerful stuff.
I'm still reminiscing on this fact that they said whenever there is a problem, it's not between us, it's actually us versus the problem. Doc,
Yes,
I love that.
powerful.
I love that. That's
Love it.
powerful because usually when there's a problem, we are trying to win.
Yep.
Hmm.
I'm trying to win. I did this, and he's saying, well, I did that. So there is never a win in a situation like that. I just
Hmm.
love what was said. We have to keep it 100%. You know,
Keep it 100. Yes.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
if if I am wrong, then I should be big enough to say, look, I am sorry.
Yeah.
But I think sorry is one of the hardest things for some
For
folks
sure.
to say. I don't know if you watched the movie, The Fonz. He never could say sorry. Before he say sorry, he'll stutter and he will.
Mm,
But we have to be able to say, "I'm sorry," and if we realize the problem is not between, it's not us, but it's us between the problem. It's not me, but it's us between the problem.
Mhm.
Then we can resolve a lot of issues.
Yeah.
A
Exactly.
lot of issues can be resolved. So we are not going to allow problems to win in our relationship. We're going to
amen.
conquer those problems. And I
Yeah.
like what I heard. We're going to conquer them. And how do you
Because
conquer
the
both?
problem is the
Team.
enemy,
The
not the
problem
one
is
Right.
we love.
yes.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
you tag team doc against the problem, you tag
Two is
team
better
it,
than one.
two better than one, and
Yeah.
we can really win. So I love
Yeah.
this. I love this, and I'm thankful that you're here with us. Now that we are on our winding down, what good advice can you give to our listening audience? Those who especially are planning marriage, those who maybe are married, newly married, and they want to have a good relationship. How can you help them?
Um.
Can I go first?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I would say put God first
Okay.
because three chords are stronger than two, 100%. And when those problems do arise, it's only through the grace of God that we're able to get through them 100%.
Yeah. And we were both gonna say the same thing.
Sorry.
We were both gonna say the same thing. Keep God first, and keep your partner second behind God,
Mm-hmm.
but first before everyone else. So,
Awesome.
um, yeah, and also like with regards to engagement, like a lot of things will be revealed to you through God. Like either people around you like may show that they're like some like you will see things that you didn't see before you were engaged.
Yeah.
Like some people may not be happy to see you like that because they may want that for themselves, or like something like that where just be prepared for whatever God reveals to you. I'll
Mm-hmm.
obviously ask him to reveal what he needs to you, but also ask him to be there with you through
Yeah, to get through
everything.
it. Yeah.
And we always say this, we'd rather have it where the issues are outside of us than us have issues and the outside is good. So yeah, just prepare for whatever may be revealed to you through the engagement period, but also it could be nothing but good stuff. Sometimes it could be some bad stuff like outside influences, but um just hold on to each other. Remember that you're engaged for a reason. You guys are going to get married. It's about being one, and it's about you guys most importantly. So yeah.
Very good
Doc,
stuff.
I think they need to start now putting these tidbits together and putting them away, because one day I want to be able to go and get a book that I could give to people that they would have written us 10 years later,
Hmm.
sharing, sharing for this generation, um, that it could be done. It could
Yeah.
Yes.
be done. I was at a function last night with younger persons in this generation who said that they have given up. In this
Mm,
generation, they
Wow.
have given up because even when they say I'm in a relationship, that don't mean that I'm exclusively in a relationship or my
mm,
partner is exclusive in a relationship. They would
yeah.
tell me all kind of things and made my head spin. I say, you know what? I'm not even going to understand it. You can just stop trying to educate me on it because it's not making sense. But I
Mm,
think that we need people from this generation to put pen to paper and help them navigate through how we can have a successful relationship.
mm.
And we thank you for joining us because you are a power couple and you are doing
Thank
just that.
you.
Thank
Yes.
you so much, and thank
Yes.
you for having us
Yes.
also.
Yeah. Thank you,
And
Love Bay.
you're welcome. I just want to recap for those that are looking for a spouse, stop looking and wait. And when you have conflict, remember It's us versus the problem. So try to resolve it together and
Yes.
always trust one another. It is a beautiful thing when we can hear from such lovely couple and to prove that good relationship is still possible. So we want to thank you, our listening audience. If you have any questions and if there are any comments, you can still make them. We will rehearse them in our next episode next week. So thank you so much for being a great listening audience. Thank you, Nathan and Chelsea, for being here with us. We really, really appreciate you. And Doc, of course, we are here every Sunday between the hours of 3 to 4 p.m. And of course, our number is 437-778-3299. You can always call Love Bay and give your questions or your comments. We appreciate them. Thank you so much.